Welcome to the Rewilded Human Podcast, where Dr. Lucille, holistic psychiatrist and psychotherapist, and Dr. Lynn, naturopath and nutritional consultant, help you reconnect with your true self. Through practical tips on mental health, nutrition, exercise, relationships, and spirituality, with a dash of humor, they tackle today's toughest issues to guide you back to a harmonious, vibrant life.
Welcome, everyone, to the Rewilded Human Podcast. In this episode, Lynn and I have a delightful conversation with Vivian Singh. Vivian is the Chief Elegance Officer of Haute Image Consulting, and her mission is to help people look their best so that they feel their best. And I happen to be a very happy customer of hers. In this episode, you will learn what is an image consultant and how do they differ from stylists. You'll learn about the very comprehensive assessment they do, including personality and lifestyle, and the 7 universal styles, and the advantages of working with an image consultant, including some psychological benefits. Also, you'll learn the importance of dressing according to your personality style rather than your age. In the words of Vivian, when you know who you are on the inside and you show that on the outside, you will be confident and no one will be able to knock you offside. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome, everybody. Today, Lynn and I have the exquisite pleasure of speaking to an image consultant. And Vivian is one of the most interesting people I've ever met in terms of the fact that she's so passionate about helping women and men dress up in a way that is aligned with who they really are and what they want to express in the world. And I had never run into an image consultant before, Vivian. I'd sort of seen them online, but to work with Vivian is amazing. It's truly a transformation and a very good one at that. So I'm very, very glad that I got transformed at the hands of Vivian Singh. So Vivian, welcome to our podcast today. And the first thing I want to ask is, how did you ever get started with this passion you have for style and image? Where did that come from?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for inviting me to this wonderful podcast of yours and for that beautiful introduction. I'm deeply honored, and it was indeed a great pleasure to meet you and work with you. And it's most rewarding when your clients actually follow through with the advice you give them. And Lucille, you've been amazing at doing that. So thank you for doing
thank
that.
you.
And she looks wonderful. I mean, the new photos and everything, we love it. We love the new look.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
thanks.
So how did I get started into image consulting? It's really interesting how it happened because in my past I was a principal of an elementary school, French immersion teacher turned principal. I retired 16 years ago, and within like 2 months it was like, okay, what do I do? And I figured I'm just going to relax, enjoy, and see what comes. It so happens that somebody talked to me about image consultant, and I thought, well, what's that? And she introduced me to it basically, and then we found a course which I decided to do. And I thought, this is fabulous because I can actually continue to work with people at my own pace and just have them feeling really good about themselves. And I love fashion, so it goes without saying that it was just like going into a girlfriend's closet and working with her and going shopping. So, and when I told my husband about the personal shopping part of it, he said, "Oh, good. At least you'll be spending other people's money now and not mine." And he was so wrong though, because Lucille knows every time I go shopping, I see something that I like for myself and I have to get it.
There's no other way.
Yeah. So that's basically how I got into image consulting. And I started out on a very small basis, just, if someone wanted their colors done. I never advertised or anything like that. It was always by word of mouth. And then I started networking during COVID, doing a lot of virtual networking, and that's where I started meeting a lot of women's groups, and that just blossomed into friendships and introductions to other people. And basically, I go by referrals from my clients, and I really enjoy it.
How amazing is that? Vivian, for someone who is new to this, what exactly do you do as
Okay,
an
so
image consultant? Do you just
right. That's a great question because quite often people don't really understand what an image consultant is. But think about your image. It's the picture you want people to see when you step out the door or step into a room. It's who are you? What is your image? What are you conveying to them? So in order to do that, and I like to distinguish ourselves from stylists as opposed to an image consultant. A stylist puts together beautiful outfits. You go to any store and ask the stylist to style you, they will style you, and you will come out feeling good. But quite often when we go home, it's like, okay, I don't feel like wearing that today because I don't know why, but whatever. With an image consultant, we work from the inside out. So we want to make sure that we're addressing who you really are on the inside and reflecting that on the outside. And so we have several programs that we do, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go along. I look at, cut, color, and clarity. I like to say, I like
like
my
a diamond?
Like diamonds,
I
yeah.
like a diamond. So, these are my 3 C's that I go by. And it makes it easy for people to understand and relate when they go shopping as well. So with an image consultant, I'm looking at, color, I'm looking at fit, I'm looking at your personality style. Who are you on the inside? And how do I bring that out on the outside? As you can see, if you look at Lucille and myself, we're very different personality styles. Lucille is more down to earth. She's more, a classic in a very natural sort of way. I'm more flamboyant, and I like, color and glitz and glamour. Whereas if I put that on Lucille, she would feel very uncomfortable. That's not her style. It doesn't mean to say that she doesn't get glamorous. She gets glamorous in her own style because I've seen her wardrobe, I've seen her closet, I've seen her jewelry and her accessories.
It's a bit
That's
scary.
You've been exposed.
I have been exposed, yes.
No, she's great. It all fits with her. There's nothing in her closet anymore that doesn't suit her
That's
personality
right.
style.
That's right. We need to talk about that whole closet edit too.
Yeah.
Yes, but sorry, go ahead.
Go
I interrupted.
ahead.
So that's basically that's it in a nutshell, really. And it's I always like to find out who you are. What's your lifestyle like? Are you a corporate person? Who's your clientele? What is your social life like? Your home life? So it's getting an idea of who you are, so that when we go shopping, I can address those different lifestyles that you have because we're not just corporate people or business owners, entrepreneurs. We have a social life, we have a home life. So how do we blend all of those together? It doesn't necessarily mean you have to have 3 different sets of clothing. It could all work together very seamlessly, depending on budget, lifestyle, income, all of those things.
And is it just about clothes, or do you help with makeup and hair and everything else?
Yes, I do. I actually advise on hair color, hair cuts, hairstyle, makeup. We do makeup as well. And all the accessories. When we go shopping for a module of clothing, it includes shoes, everything that you need, scarves, and whatever we identify. Well, let me back up a little bit. Once we've done your color analysis and your personality style analysis, the next step is actually a closet edit. So I will come in and go through your clothing. We try things on. This one works. This one needs to be altered. This one we really need to get rid of. So we just decide on those, and then we make a list of what is it that we need to create this module of clothing that makes you feel wonderful. So we create a list and then we go out shopping. Now I look at the shoes, I look at accessories, I look at handbags, I look at everything, coats, whatever it is that we identify as a need. And so we know what colors we have because, as a matter of fact, sorry, everyone gets a book of color swatches that you can take with you. So it's very easy to remember your colors and not stay away from them. And so, going shopping then makes it so much easier to accomplish all of those things. So when I go shopping as well, we have a full day of shopping. And if the client wants a hairstyle and makeup, we incorporate that as well. So we do it's almost like a full makeover on that day.
It's really
And
cool.
I can tell you the whole experience was mind-blowing for me. I was absolutely ready to change things up. It just felt right for me. Vivian, you were amazing. You went through my closets like a stormtrooper, throwing things all over the place.
I like that word.
And I think we ended up with 10 garbage bags full of clothing. I had no idea that I'd accumulated that much over any period of time. And it was kind of like, I can imagine a person who might not quite be ready to radically transform would be crying, in their coffee, the whole process. I was only too glad that it was just like so surgically precise, and I was ready to get it all done. But you were amazing in that your sense of the color and style is just so a hundredfold better than mine could ever be. And I was just, in total admiration for how quickly you knew what could stay, what could go, and what went together. It was just amazing. It was totally amazing. And the other thing that was really, there are two other things that really amazed me as well, is that I had always thought I was a certain color palette, a spring, and you did such an extensive and comprehensive color analysis on me. Like you were very meticulous. And it turned out I was not a spring at all. I was an autumn. I'd been going on a misconception for most of my life. And I thought, well, I don't know if I'm going to be comfortable with these colors. I'm not familiar with them. But, it turned out I actually had an almost visceral sense of comfort. When I started wearing those colors, it was kind of like, oh, yes, I would never have thought of wearing this color, but I feel so good in it. It was like something had aligned with the cells of my being. It was really quite amazing.
Sorry, go ahead.
And the personality assessment and the lifestyle assessment were so comprehensive. I was going through it thinking, oh my God, will this ever end? Not in a bad way, but it was just like question after question after. And I really had to think about, well, really, what is my life like? What do I do? What am I comfortable with? It really kind of, I would say I had to really expose myself to myself, right?
Yes.
What does the lifestyle assessment consist of? Is it just a questionnaire or?
It is. It's a questionnaire. It's about 6 pages long, though. And it's multiple choice, not multiple choice, sorry. You choose as many words as apply to you. So, it goes into and now I'm drawing a blank, but it's based on this, it's Universal Style by Elise Parsons. And it really goes into every aspect of your inner person, your personality style, like your work life, your career, profession, what you do outside of your profession. Help me, Lucille. I can't even read. I've got a blank.
Hobbies. It was things like hobbies.
Yes.
Other activities in your life. And I think there was also something about people the people in your life, the people that you congregate with the most. I
Right.
seem to remember that as well. Yeah.
And it's something you can have others help you to do, because quite often we might look at ourselves and not realize, oh, you're very outgoing, you're very sensual, you're very this. So I always say, if you need someone to sit with you and say, well, no, you do this, you're this. And it makes a big difference, because sometimes we say, oh, I'm not that at all, and you don't see yourself that way, but you actually are that way. And once you go through this, I do an analysis of all of your answers. And it's a very systematic program, actually. It's very easy to follow, and made the world of difference to me as an image consultant, because there are actually 7 universal styles. There are 3 core styles, which are sporty, traditional, and elegant. So you will be one of those. The majority of your questions will point to one of those. It could point to 2 of them. And then there were 4 complementary styles as well. And that is romantic, alluring, creative, and dramatic. So there are 7 styles, and you can be a combination of any of those 7. So let's say that you are sporty, and you turn out to be romantic, and you are alluring. Those, you think sporty and alluring, well, I'm not sure how that goes together, because you think of a sporty style being sweats and tracks and jeans, and that's not what sporty is at all. It's actually a more casual, relaxed way of dressing. And it's I may actually even have a wheel here right now that I could show you.
You
Um,
know that's me, right, Lucille?
Yes.
that,
You and your.
I live in yoga pants, tank
That's
top, and hoodies, and that's it. That's
well,
true.
this is what a sporty person would
Oh,
look like.
nice.
That's, not necessarily a current picture. This book was done a long time ago, but that's a typical sporty person. They like to be relaxed. They don't want things, they don't want to be fidgeting with things and, oh, this is a bit snug here or whatever. It's got to be comfortable, natural fabrics. And then, so once I know that, I know what direction to go in. The qualifying underlying styles, such as romantic and alluring, well, that sporty woman, I could probably put a little top under her shirt that has a ruffle or has some tucks or has some lace or something like that to bring out the romantic side of her personality. Now, if she's alluring as well, I could add a deep V-neck. So it doesn't have to be, plunging neckline, but because she's sporty, it might be just a softer one, or a small slit on her skirt as opposed to a higher slit. So there are different ways of addressing those personality styles. And each one is so unique, because I never really figured out why I liked wearing certain things until I had my personality style done. And now I can dress with confidence, and I just walk out, and it's like people are waiting to see what I'm wearing whenever I go to dinner, or
That is so cool.
it can be embarrassing sometimes, but at one time I used to feel a bit self-conscious because I dressed that way, but I didn't know why I was dressing that way. But once I figured it out, I knew exactly what to go to. I knew exactly what to avoid, because I love ruffles and I love lace and all of that. But I noticed that I would put them aside to the back of my closet after a while and not really enjoy wearing them. Then I realized, you know what? I don't have romantic in me. I'm elegant, I'm dramatic, and I'm alluring. So there's no space for romantic there inside of me. Sometimes I'll go with a big collar or something that is a bit more romantic, but it has to be dramatic at the same time. So that's how we really bring out what's on the inside to the outside. I'll share a story with you that a client I was working with a couple of years ago. She owns her own business. She's a in social work. And because of the nature of her business, I think she always felt that when she's counseling people, she needs to be more classic and toned down and whatever. Well, she hit her 50s, COVID came, she put it on some weight, and she really wasn't happy with herself. It's like, I don't know what to do anymore. She found me somehow, I forget how she found me, and we worked on her style. And this was in the spring. We did a couple of modules of clothing for her. And one of her personality styles was alluring. And she was never alluring before, but I brought in a little bit of that alluring for her. And she was able to appreciate that. She came back to me the following fall and she said, I want to do some more shopping with you for the fall, winter wardrobe. But this time I want you to focus more on the alluring side. And I went, oh, well, there we go. That is awesome because, she had it in her before. She loved it, but she never knew she felt she had to hide it. She couldn't be that person in her office or even in her social life. It was really interesting.
So
And
changing someone's clothes and image can actually change their personality or
absolutely.
bring out different aspects of their personality.
I think what it does is it makes them more confident.
Yes.
And if you can step out the door feeling confident, you automatically feel empowered, I think. And once you feel that way, I don't think there's anybody that could hit you off track. I mean, you're confident, you feel great, you walk into a room, you own the room. And, it's what I love to do. I love to inspire people to own their power and to just get in there and be confident. Because if you don't have to worry about what people think about you, that's a big thing that we've carried on our shoulders for so many years. Oh, what are they going to think about me if I wear this? What are they going to think about me if I say that? And when you know who you are on the inside and you can dress to show that with confidence, it's amazing. It's amazing what it can do for your entire life, I would say.
Absolutely amazing. What do you do with someone, for example, if their color comes out as, I don't know, blue or pink, but they don't like that color, or the opposite, for example, if somebody says, I love pink, it's my favorite color, but it's just, according to the charts, it's not her color. What can you do with someone like that?
Oh, that's quite easy. It's hard at first. I'm not making saying this is an easy peasy thing. No, not at all. I have to think of the emotions of the person and what they're going through. And it's really quite interesting because I remember when I was doing my training, there was someone who wore a lot of black and white, which a lot of us all automatically do. Black is in everybody's closet. And then she found out that that's for a winter person, winter color palette. And she was not a winter, she was actually an autumn. So she needed to go into browns and golds and yellows and greens and all the earthy colors. She actually cried. She was in training to be an image consultant. She actually cried because she didn't want to give up her black and white. But she decided if I'm going to do this, I have to set the example. And once she was able to accept that, she just loved her palette after. She absolutely loved it. So it's showing people, like Lucille said, she never thought she would be able to wear the colors that she was wearing. But she saw that when she put some of the colors on that she had in her closet, they washed her out. And once you can show someone how washed out they look, as opposed to how they glow with a certain color, I think that makes the difference. And it's a slow process. It's not something that you can just say, no, well, you can't have that. I would just say to the person, you can keep that in your closet, but keep it at the back of your closet. It's not your first color to go to. Let's get some of the colors that are within your palette. Let's just get a few pieces. It could just be a scarf. It's just to get started with. You don't have to change your whole wardrobe. You can just change little pieces. Maybe a pink lipstick as opposed to a red, or and here again we have different shades for different palettes. So the red I'm wearing today has a bluer undertone to it. If I were to give Lucille a red, it would be more of an orangey undertone. So there were different reds. So it depends on the shade of the color that you're giving the client as well. So you could start off with just some lipstick or a pair of little earrings or something like that, and just build your wardrobe easily and as you adapt to that color. And because then you will actually see what the color's doing for you, and you start getting compliments too.
Mhm. No, and
You will.
you are so right because I've experienced this so many times. And like for example, I will never wear just black at the top. It just ages
Right.
me. It just doesn't make me look good. For some people, they can get away with it. You can't. And now, like that, my hair is blonde. I can get away with greens, for example, which never looked good on me before. So it's funny how things change. But sometimes you put on something in the morning and you just look horrible and you feel horrible. And then you just change the color, you change your top, and it's like your face just comes alive. I mean,
Yes.
you do this professionally, but we're just playing around at home. But I think
Right.
a lot of people at home who are watching this actually can relate to that. Like you put on this certain color, like I put on a yellow and I'm just washed out completely. And then I put on like a hot pink and your face just pops.
Right, exactly. Now, and here's the other beautiful thing about having your colors done, because once you have your colors done, you have a set of neutrals, for example. So this is a summer palette. So this is a cooler undertone. So these would be your neutrals. You see there's no black in there. There's a charcoal, there's charcoal, there's gray, there's a sort of a very soft white. There is some darker colors here, and again, it's not a black, but it's a softer, more charcoaly sort of color. So these would be your neutrals. You could also wear navy in this, but again, it depends on the shade of navy. And then, and Lucille knows this, all of these neutrals go with all of these colors in this palette.
Mhm.
So, and I can mix and match all of these colors. You can see I can put all of these colors with all of these ones. So it's very easy to create a wardrobe where you can practically get dressed blindfolded. If you take a top off, it should be able to go with your bottom. So you have no orphan pieces. So you're not going out shopping and, oh, wow, I love that top. I'm going to go get it, because you're going to stop, you're going to look at your color, you're going to look at your cut, you're going to look at your personality style. Is for me, oh, it's got ruffles. Darn, I can't get that. I'm not going to end up wearing it. It'll look great in the store, it'll look great on me, but it's not who I am. So you just put it back. But the beauty about having the color palette is that if you stick with your color palette, you can just build a beautiful wardrobe that where I always say you buy 3 tops to go with every bottom. And right away, and then you can accessorize and change things up. You can change your blazer, you can wear a scarf, you could wear all sorts of things to make those 3 tops look like, I don't know, a dozen at least outfits. At least it actually goes to a lot more than that. But yeah, it's so having your color palette, I think, is very important because it helps you to avoid those, oh, that yellow, no, not today, because that means it's probably not in your palette.
So it's a major navigational tool now for me when I go shopping. Always have one on hand, and I'm
Yes.
always consulting it, and it does make life so much easier, so much more efficient. And you're absolutely right. I like that statement you made that you can go into your closet and you can pretty much pick out stuff blindfolded, and it all works, right?
Yeah.
There's none of this pulling your hair out in the morning thinking, what do I put with this, with that? It just makes life so much easier.
And we all often say we wear 20% of our closet 80% of the time. And
Oh,
that's so true with so many of us. And so when you don't need, a closet full of clothing to look good every day. Excuse me. A small amount, well coordinated, can take you to so many different levels.
I really like that concept for every bottom buy 3 tops. Like that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
closet is just full of black pants, just piled up
that's
together.
right.
And
That's
they're all
right.
the same. And I just keep
Yeah.
buying black pants. And I'm always looking for tops. And it's always much harder to find tops than more black pants, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So Lynn, I think we need to get your colors done, and I do them virtually as well.
Oh yeah. So can you like look at someone and know right away what the palette would be?
It's yes and no, because if somebody's wearing makeup, if they're in under the light, it's very difficult. Because when I do a color consultation, it's no makeup. And I just I always do a virtual consultation, and then I demonstrate the true colors on the person in person. So you can see the difference the colors make on you. But with a virtual consultation, I would also do a demonstration online so that you can see, because I put your face in the colors, and you can see the difference it makes.
So you do,
But
you actually have clients who are only online. Can you do virtual consultations?
yes, 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 I
And
do.
then how would you handle like the shopping part? Or you would just tell them or shop on?
I I don't do that myself. I've tried it during COVID,
Yeah.
and I didn't like it because I found I was ordering a lot of things, and you have to take them back. Sometimes you get, unless you're really familiar with the brand and the sizing and how the way they cut things, it's very difficult. And I just found that very difficult to do because I really like the personal contact. So I could direct them to, the kinds of things to buy. I could tell them where to go to buy certain things. There are some programs where I have a colleague who she does a lot of online shopping, and she can just get onto this app that she has, and she clicks on it, and she puts all of these clothing items into the cart for you. You go and look at the cart. You order from the cart. She tells you what size and so on, and then you order from the cart, and it's like ordering online, except you've had an image consultant tell you what to order. So it can be done, but it's not my forte. As I said, I really love the personal um, experience with my clients.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really a blessing for me because what Vivian did when we finally figured out my personality style, color palette, etc. She went to out to shop, sort of to scout out a certain location where there was lots of shops, and she
Shop.
spent. Yeah, you spent, I think you said, you told me you spent 5 hours just picking out certain things you thought would go in my modules. And it made life so much easier the next day when we got together, and I was actually there trying the stuff on. And I don't think there was really that much that we rejected. You did a really good job at pre-screening the clothing items, I must say.
Right. Well, what that does for me, it's when I go shopping with a client, we could say, okay, let's meet at this store. But sometimes they don't have the colors that you're looking for. They don't have the style you're looking for. So, I mean, we could do that, and I could go and browse through very quickly and go, oh no, let's go on. But then to me, it's not making the best use of my client's time. Now, there are a lot of image consultants that do that, and that works for them, and that's fine. But I prefer to go a couple of days ahead of time. I know exactly what stores I want to focus on, and then I go to those stores. I also look at budget because, certain people have a small budget, some have a medium, and some have a huge budget. So I look at budget and which stores I can go to, and that's how I get started. So pre-shopping for me is essential because, and I can only do it a couple days ahead of time because then I ask the store to hold those things for me. And then they will put them aside because I don't want to go there and say, oh, it's gone, the size is gone, that was the last one. So they will hold it for me for a couple of days. Then so when I go in with my client, they're just able to try it on, and we can decide it's a good fit, it doesn't, I don't like it, or whatever. Because at the end of the day, the client has to like it and feel great in it. And I know when we tried on a few of the things that I'd chosen for Lucille, she came out and said, "Oh, I would never have picked that off the rack at all," but she
Mm.
loved it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was a
But
complete eye opener for me. Complete.
I went with a personal shopper just once in my life, and I found that so fascinating because she was picking up stuff that I would have never picked up, and it looked amazing. And
Yeah,
that happens a lot. Sometimes you go into a shop, and the lady that's working there will bring you, no, try this, try this. No, it's not me. But then you
yeah,
put it on, and it actually looks amazing.
right, right.
It's really nice to have like someone else, like a second eye that's looking at it from a different perspective than, because we tend to just, I think we kind of develop our style like maybe in our early 20s. And then we were like, okay, well, this is what looks good on us. And then that just kind of carries you throughout life, right?
Right. Well,
Mhm.
yes and no, because I think fashion evolves with our age and our experiences. And there's fashion and there's style. So fashion is really what we see in the stores, and style is who we are. So, I like to look at it that way. So I have, a whole bunch of things that distinguish fashion from style. So, as we age, we tend to change. And I found that at one point I was working with a lot of women in their 40s, because they hit 40 and it's like, I'm not a teenager, I'm not in my 20s, but I don't want to look like my mom. And this is where they kind of got stuck, because they didn't know how to make that transition from being that teenage, they still call it the teenage look. I don't know why, even though they're in their 20s or 30s. Um, but they said, we don't want that young look or I don't want an old look. So where do I fit in? And this is where, when I show them how to use those pieces, it's incredible. I was working with one client, and she had this extensive set of clothing. Oh my gosh, I think the room was full of clothing. She brought everything out and put them on racks, and it's like, okay, all right, let's go to this. There was one dress that she had there that was very alluring, and it was a beautiful dress. I mean, I would definitely wear that dress. I'm 75 and I would wear that dress. She's
You're
40.
75?
I am.
There's no way.
And her mother said to her, "Oh, you can't wear that dress. You're too old for that." And I'm going, "Are
Mm.
you kidding me? I would wear that dress." She said, "Well, you can have it if you want." I said, "No, no, no. It doesn't work like that. You can definitely wear that dress if you wanted to. It doesn't matter what your age is. It's who you are, how you wear it. And does it make you feel great? Does it bring you joy? How does it make you feel when you put it on? Forget about what your mom thinks. It's not her life, it's your life. And I mean, I'm not saying be disrespectful. I don't think it's being disrespectful to her mom, but it's saying, no, just because I'm 40 doesn't mean I can't wear this anymore. And we see this happening with more and more women as we age, because I see a lot of posts on Instagram. Oh, I'm 59, I'm getting into, I'm 60, and look at the way I'm dressed. Yeah, awesome. That's the way it should be, because you're not looking ridiculous. One thing I don't like is to see women, as my younger sister puts it, mutton dressed as lamb.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
you know, because there are sometimes you do sometimes see someone and it's like, okay, come on, that really doesn't suit you. I'm sure we could find something nicer that brings out those same qualities in you, but just putting on a mini leopard skirt and a black V-neck top, it doesn't really go with who you are, So it's really interesting. But
Yeah.
I'm really happy to see that so many more women, as we get older, we're embracing our age, and we're not dressing for our age. Like, what does a 75-year-old look like? What does a 60-year-old look like? I don't know.
I agree with you. And my mom,
Yeah.
she still walks around with little short jean shorts and, cute little tops. She calls them Lynn-me-downs, my hand-me-downs. She's always like, she's wearing what I was wearing 5 years ago, but it looks amazing on her. She'll put on cowboy boots, a jean jacket, little jean shorts, and everyone thinks she's like
Oh,
20 years younger than she actually is. But she's
that's
in great shape. She can pull it off. She looks
yeah.
wonderful. But do
Yeah.
you think sometimes, as we're getting older, sometimes people try to cling on to their youth by trying to wear clothes that are no longer suitable for them?
Yeah. And I think that's where knowing who you are and knowing your personality style comes in.
Yeah.
Because if you know how to dress your body and your shape, it doesn't matter what your age is. Because I know there are sometimes people you've put on some weight and you've got that extra midriff and it's hard to get rid of it sometimes. So they wear a straight dress or something that hides the midriff. Well, that's probably the worst thing you can do because you're adding pounds to yourself when you do that. So it's showing those people how to still dress and feel good about themselves. You can wear a small belt. Just because you have a midriff doesn't mean that you can't, show off your waist. If you can create a waist or find an outfit that creates a waist for you. And a lot of things we do is playing, creating illusions with the eyes. It's all an illusion. What the way I dress you, the lines that I choose for you. So we can create those illusions for these women. You can wear, let's say, I'll just say black top and pants and wear a red jacket over top of it that is just open at the front. And right away, you can see when that is like Lucille is wearing right now, just the way she's sitting there. Let's pretend that that green is a shirt underneath her sweater. You can see that the sweater creates a line on either side of that. And so that would slim you down right away. So finding lines and curves and different little details that can help you to create a figure, create and it creates that illusion that and it's amazing. You see some women that are really overweight celebrities, and I really admire their style because their stylist has done an amazing job of styling their body. They're not trying to make them look young or whatever. They're styling their body. And I really admire that.
Yeah, you're right. It's usually like they're wearing a big tent, hoping that it will just cover everything, but
Yep.
the illusion of giving a waist and everything, and I totally understand what you're saying.
And necklines, sleeve lengths, the length of your dress, I was just talking to someone and she's a dear friend, but I haven't gone right out and said it to her just yet. But she is petite. She has had some medical issues, and because of that, she can't exercise the way she did before. So she's put on some around the middle, and she's short. She's 5'2". So she was always a very stylish dresser and just always looked amazing. She still does. But what I've noticed recently, and she doesn't live here, so when I see her, I will chat with her, and it's easier when you're chatting in person, I think. So she has been wearing mostly straight dresses without any shape, and they're mid-calf, and she's short, and she just looks like she's a barrel, and it doesn't do anything for her. So, and then the sleeve she had on in this one particular outfit, it was what we refer to as a bat wing, where it sort of comes up here. And so that right away makes you look shorter because when you've got this here now, this is where your sleeve length is. So where is your waist? Your waist is way up under that sleeve. Whereas if your sleeve is up here and your waist is way down here, it gives you that much more length in your body. So, these are all things that we use to create that illusion of who you are. Not the illusion of who you are. You're who you are, but we use lines and details to make you feel good and look good.
To bring out the best in the person.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's the way it works. Yeah.
So, yes, so that's very interesting because we have talked about it brings confidence, it
Yeah.
brings out the confidence in a person. What other things do people tell you, your clients tell you about how, what other things it's brought out in them, like in terms of their personality when they're really dressing according to what works for them? So, other than confidence, what would that be? What have you heard?
Well, I'll quote you from a stylist, not a stylist, a client that I worked with years ago. She was an administrator at one of the hospitals in Toronto, And when I went to her closet, and when I met her, she always dressed well. She said to me, yeah, no, I always dress well. So, but I need some help clearing out my closet. So we did that, and then we ended up shopping as well. So once we shopped, I showed her how to the different lengths. She never wore jeans. She had lots of jeans in her closet, but because she was a very slim fit, she was very tiny on the bottom, and she was fuller busted. And so she just figured she was too skinny to wear the jeans. I made her put some jeans on, and I said, "Tell me what's wrong with these." She goes, "Well, I don't know. People tell me that I shouldn't be wearing jeans because I'm too skinny." And I'm saying, "You look fantastic in that pair of jeans. So you really, let's put some tops to it and see what you can do." She called me back a while later. She goes, "I wore some jeans to my family's get together tonight, and I had so many compliments. So thank you, thank you, thank you." The other thing she said was, I asked her, I said, "Now that you've been dressing this way for a couple of months, tell me how you feel about it. How has made you feel different? What's the effect it's had on you?" She says, "Well, I've always been a well-dressed person. I've always had compliments when I go into work. But when I go into work now, I just feel 10 inches taller." She was, again, was a petite woman. But because she now knew her personality style, she knew her colors, she knew the styles that brought out the best in her. We changed her hemline that she could wear to work. It all made a huge difference. And she felt so much taller just walking into work. Not much else had changed, just her clothing.
So this can actually help you in your career, or if you're in sales, making more sales and moving up in the ladder.
Yes, absolutely. And we always say, if you're at rung 3 on the ladder and you want to get to the top rung, you dress for to look like you're already at that top rung of the ladder. So that's something that I was told when I was being trained, and it's always stuck with me. And it's interesting, the clients that I get these days, they're all either entrepreneurs or women in corporate, or, just doing well for themselves.
What does a successful woman look like in your opinion? What does she dress like? What's her image like?
Oh gosh, it just depends on the woman. It's a successful woman. She walks out and you can see the confidence in her. I think it all comes down to style and confidence. And for me, she could have bright red lips, or she could have very soft lips, or whatever, but you've got to have your hair done well. Your makeup has to be okay. You don't have to wear makeup. As Lucille knows, we did some makeup with her, and she was very specific about the kind of makeup that she wanted, and it's all very natural. And so we found the place, and when we did her makeup, as you can see, Lucille still looks very natural, but she looks very well put together. And I think that's what makes all the difference. It's working with who you are, and dressing the part. You don't always have to be in a suit to look powerful. This red shirt in itself, the colors you wear, red is a power color.
Yeah.
And there are so many moods and emotions that can be evoked through using color. If I'm looking at winning over somebody, I'm not going to go in there with a red shirt, because this puts me in control. This gives me power. I'm going to wear maybe a pink top or a blue top, or something that's a softer tone, so that, it's more nurturing. It's a more nurturing color. So I would do that. And you probably quite often hear celebrities or politicians and their wives that, "Oh, she wore white because it's a peace rally, or it's a solidarity or something like that." So color is used to convey certain messages. You see politicians always using a red tie. when they want to show their power. But when they want to win your vote, they're more with a maybe an open collar or a blue shirt or something like that in jeans. So they try to relate to the person, to their audience. So the color you wear, the styles you wear, how you wear them. I don't know if that answers your
It
question.
does. It's very powerful, and it makes a lot of sense to me.
Mhm.
Vivian, let's talk about hair for a second. So
Okay.
I want to know what you think about longer hair for women as we get older. You know, people that are clinging to the long hair. I used to have really long hair just 2 years ago. I've cut it and I've had this style since, but that was a huge move for me. I didn't cut it because I didn't think it was age appropriate. I just needed a change. But I know a lot of women are being told in their 50s, 60s, 70s that you should not have long hair. So I'd
Right.
like to know about that, and also about women that are clinging to, for example, black hair, and they keep dyeing their hair black as they're getting older, and it, in my opinion, just makes them look so much older. You know,
Yeah.
my natural hair color is dark brown, and as I started going gray, I started going lighter and lighter. It's easier, but I feel like it softens up my features, and I
Yes.
see like black hair, especially sometimes even on younger women who dye their hair black, it just brings out really strong features. It just gives you a very
Mhm.
different look.
Right. Well, the thing is, as we age, I'm glad you mentioned that the black hair as we grow older, because as we grow older, our hair lightens. We go from black to gray, some shade of gray. And if you're going to keep dyeing your hair black, you can go to a softer black. So it doesn't have to be, but some people still use jet black.
Or
And to
blue
me,
black.
it looks so harsh,
Yeah.
but you can go to a softer shade of black. You could go to a brownish black. It depends on your skin coloring and your undertone as to what you would wear. So that I hear you, but I find a lot of people are allowing their hair to go natural. My two daughters-in-law both have gray hair. They're both gray. And they've just since COVID, they've just allowed themselves to go gray. And they're one is in her 50s, the other one's in just turned 40. So, it's interesting that they're at this age, they're
Yeah,
just going
there's a
natural.
huge movement towards that, and I think it's
Absolutely.
wonderful.
And it looks really good. And for me, I just love this because I don't have to worry about touching up my roots or coloring anything or putting anything in it. I just wash it, dry it, and go. And I'm very fortunate that it's this color, you
It looks
know.
like a beautiful blonde, like Lucille as
Thank
well.
you.
No, it does. I mean, if mine would grow out like that, I would leave it in a second. Mine is not that color, sadly. But I mean, I love this movement that women are embracing this, and I
Yes.
think it's so empowering, and it just looks absolutely amazing. I see
Yeah,
them even in long hair, and you can just be like, wow, like this woman's in her power. You know, she's got the
right.
long hair, the gray
Exactly.
hair, and she's
Yes.
owning it, and I
Yes.
think that's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. And to address your question about the long hair, I think it depends on the person and how the hair is styled and what it looks like on them. I have clients who are in their 50s, almost 60s, some of them, and they're clinging. And I'm saying clinging because I would like to see a different style where it frames their face a little bit more, but they're not at that stage where they want to do anything. They still want the ringlets and that sort of thing, and that's fine. If that's what makes you feel good, then that's great. I mean, I'm thinking of one client I have, and she has terrific legs, she has terrific body, she looks amazing, and she's got her long blonde hair and her curls, and she loves it. She embraces that, and I wouldn't have her cut it. I know there's another one with very long hair down to her back, and it's beautiful. It's very straight and it's gorgeous hair. But for me, it doesn't do anything for her because it falls in her face. I would love to see a little bit more shape. She's the most, she has the most gorgeous face. To me, it's just being hidden.
You need some like soft layers or something to frame the face.
And she does get that done at times, but I think sometimes it grows out, or I'm not sure, but it just I just think it's too much. But I think I have to respect also what my clients want. And I can make suggestions. And if they're not ready for that, then no. But I know some of the women that I work with will look absolutely stunning with short hair.
Mhm.
It would just take years off their face as well.
Mhm.
But
And the
there,
health of the hair
yeah,
is also very important, especially when it's long. If it's not healthy and it's just frizzy and you're not curling it or straightening and it's just kind of hanging there, that can be quite aging as well.
that's right. Now, I was watching Fire Aid last night on television, and for the Los Angeles, the it was a musical tribute raising money for the people in Los Angeles,
Right.
and Joni Mitchell came on. I don't know if you know Joni
Yep.
Mitchell.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yep.
she came on and she's beautiful. She was sitting in a chair. She couldn't, I don't know how they got her on the stage or anything, but she was just sitting in a chair and she had long hair. She was wearing a hat, but she had her hair tied back a little bit off her face and wearing sunglasses. And she looked amazing. And then Stevie Nicks,
Steven X, yeah. She always
um,
had the long hair, long blonde
she's
hair.
got the long hair too. And I mean, yeah, she is a musician. She's an artist. She's creative. So so you have to look at the different personality, the lifestyle, what it is they're going for, and advise your client that way. It's I think as we get older, it looks better shorter. But some people look absolutely amazing with the long hair. It just depends on, your personality and how well you can take you care and the style. The style makes a big difference.
Another thing I was always curious about is, I've lived a long time on this planet. And when I was younger, and I think Lynn also notes this because I know she posted on her Instagram some time ago about this, how people used to dress more elegantly. When I was growing up, yes, sometimes you had the women who wore the curlers in their hair when they're going shopping, but for the most part, people dressed up a little bit. It was something special
Yeah.
to go out, and you had to look a certain way, and some people looked amazing at parties. They had these amazing, cocktail gowns and all this stuff, and the men were also, quite elegant in their own way. And that has, dissipated over time to the point where we're kind of like a lot of people are dressing like workers, just workers, or as if they've just rolled out of bed. And so, can you enlighten us a little bit on what you think has been going on to create that trend?
Well, I think first of all, COVID didn't help us um,
Mm-hmm.
because we were all at home. As Lynn said, I'm in my pajama bottoms, maybe. But
Yeah.
look how fabulous she looks on top, right? I actually put shoes on today because I was going to be on the podcast and I wanted to feel dressed. Normally, I would have my slippers on if it's just a casual call or something, but I don't feel dressed unless my feet are covered and I've got some, my pants are just sort of sweaty, loose-fitting pants, but that's okay. I'm comfortable. But I think when COVID hit, there was what, 3, 4 years, and it still happens now, of a lot of virtual calls, nobody going into the office. So we became very casual, we became very relaxed at home. We could wear slippers and nobody would see us. And I think that has sort of gone into the workplace a little bit. And this is where I've had actually people asking me to do workshops for their clients and saying, we want to make sure everybody is presenting themselves in a certain way to our clients when they walk in, because it's almost like, it's not casual. Friday doesn't mean you wear jeans every time. Or if you wear jeans, it doesn't mean you're wearing a t-shirt, that sort of thing. So it was trying to get people back into that mindset of I'm still going to work. There is still a certain expectation of the way I should be dressed. But let me go back before COVID. I think there was already a trend where, I've got the money, I can dress wherever, however I want. And then that started filtering to all the other levels of society. Because I remember going to a few restaurants, and they were higher end restaurants, nice restaurants where you want to get dressed up and, look, feel good. You're paying a lot of money for a meal and enjoy an evening. Every time I went, there was always somebody in there with jeans and a t-shirt. And I'm going, seriously? You could have put on a dress shirt with those jeans? And I'm thinking, I don't care who you are or what you do, but to me, it's disrespectful. It's not, I just couldn't accept it at that time. And even going to the theater, and I have a British background. So, you got dressed for certain things, you got dressed a certain way. And you can tell by my age that I have certain expectations that I grew up with that my children haven't grown up with. And my grandchildren are changing too. But, you'd go to the theater and you'd be nicely dressed, and people are walking in with runners and, jeans and very casual look. And I'm going, oh, I thought this was going to be a nice, fun, dressy evening. Having said that, I'm seeing that there is a little bit of a turn back towards dressing up. I don't know if you're seeing that, but maybe it's the circles that I'm in, but I see a lot of people taking more time to dress better, to not, and even if you were in jeans or sweats or something, you're going to be wearing some nice runners with it, or a nice top or something that makes a little bit more of a statement. It's more like finding the sweats or the jeans or whatever that suits your personality style. So there are all different levels out there as well of those. So it's, and fabrics and quality and colors. So, some people, they want to have that big label down the side of their leg, or big Gucci across the chest. And
Yeah. But there are also very big cultural differences. Like, I'm in Europe. So if you go to France, Italy, I'm in Spain right now, women would never ever, for example, even go into a supermarket in yoga pants. So that's how you know who the foreigners are, because of the way they're dressed. And while I'm out there walking the dogs in pajamas, like, the people here would never do that. So, it doesn't
yeah,
matter where they're going, the women will get dressed up, and they'll get dressed up beautifully, and to go for lunch or the theater or even to the cinema. It's very different.
yes,
That's how we know someone's from North America, because of the way they're dressed.
that's true. That's very true. And you see that if you go on a cruise or,
Yes.
a tour or something like that, right?
Go on an
You,
Italian cruise, and it's like, woof, everyone's just dressed to the nines and hair done
yeah,
and perfume and everything. It's a big
yes,
difference between North America and
absolutely.
Europe.
Yes, I mean, you just have to look at the way the people are walking in the streets, and I think it tells you a lot about the culture.
Yes, it's very
Yeah.
true. Vivian, I know we don't have a lot of time left, but I just wanted to ask you quickly about men. Do you also have men clients?
I have had in the past, but they're fewer and far between. It's I've worked with men, and I can, and I don't if they come to me, I work with them. But I prefer working with women. It's much more fun, you know.
That makes sense.
Don't have a lot of accessories that I can share with the men, but with the women, I can get them dressed up, get their hair done, their makeup. With men,
Mhm.
I do the hair as well. I mean, because sometimes they need a different haircut or something like that, and that can make a big difference.
That can make a big difference for sure.
And so are they usually in the corporate world? Is
Usually,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Hmm.
And it's easy to dress them, because it's, the to make sure with those that level of dressing, you want to make sure that the suit is fitting properly, the jackets are perfect. And even with my females, when I dress them, I want to make sure that you're and Lucille, we have to have things altered. If
Hmm.
you can't necessarily buy something that fits you perfectly off the rack.
Sure.
It's made for a certain body type, and it's not necessarily my body type. I have narrow shoulders and wide hips, and a small bust. So I always have to have things altered. But the quality of clothing that you buy makes a difference. I was appalled once I was in London, England, and I was actually, I was shopping for my brother because I was working with him. And we went to, was it Harrods? I think it was Harrods or Selfridges. Anyway, one of the big stores, and they had all these high-end designers. And we found the right suit for him that fit his body type perfectly, and we still had to have a few little tweaks here and there. In the other cubicle, I saw somebody being dressed, and I don't know if he needed a suit immediately or what the story was, but I looked at him, and his suit was kind of wrinkled in the back. The jacket was wrinkled in the back, and it wasn't fitting smoothly. And he actually bought that suit, and I'm going, do I say anything? Do I say anything? Or and I thought, how could anyone allow somebody to walk out with a jacket looking like that? The person, the person who is the epitome of style for me is Kate Middleton. You look at that woman, there's never a crease anywhere on her. I don't know how she does it, what the fabric she uses, if there's some kind of special lining, but there's never a crease or a wrinkle on anything she wears. I have one Armani jacket that I bought when I first started image consulting. And I bought it at Holt Renfrew, and you know that store in Toronto, Lucille.
Yeah.
And it was not cheap, 15 years ago when I purchased it. But I was thinking ahead, and I thought, if I'm going to get the right clients, I need to be dressed well. This is an investment. I still wear that blazer today, and it doesn't matter whether I've put a few inches on around my waist or whatever. The lines, I'm always so impressed. And I cannot believe that 14 years later, I'm still wearing that blazer and it fits me so beautifully. And that's because I had to have it altered. And the seamstress that altered it knew exactly what she was doing. She knew she had to let the hips out a little bit for me, taper the waist in, and taper the bust in a little bit. And that jacket, it's like, whoa, it's just so smooth. I just feel like $1,000,000 every time I wear it.
It
So
was
it's
good investment then.
Mhm.
absolutely, because 14 years later, I'm still wearing it,
Mhm.
and it's still in great condition. So, it's worth making investments in those key pieces, and
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be 1,400. Wait until something goes on sale, or buy something that's a little bit less than, what's your budget? Um, and it's easy to do. Just keep your eyes, get your list, stick to it. And yeah, I know Lucille's been sticking to her list because every now and again she'll send me a message. Oh, look, I went shopping today. Oh, well done, Lucille.
So nice that I have a coach in my corner, like Vivian. She's amazing.
Oh, thank you. You were amazing to work with also. It's all a
Thank
lot of fun.
you.
So yes, I do work with men, but I don't. Most of my clients come from referral or finding me online or something like that. But I don't advertise. So whoever comes my way is the way I work. That's the way I keep it as a not so much of a full-time job.
Sounds perfect. Vivian, please tell our listeners how they can find you, how they can find out more information about what you do.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Well, I'm based in Mississauga, just outside of Toronto, but I work throughout the GTA. And I don't know if you could put up my information later. It's Otimage Consulting. It's spelled hot image, but I like the French
Okay,
pronunciation,
gosh, I like that.
Otimage Consulting.
Maj.
And yes, and I'm based in Toronto, and my number is 416-705-9318.
And you're
So
also on social media, right?
yes, I am. I'm on Instagram, Vivian.Singh, and I'm on Facebook. And I forget what the handle is for that, but I can send that all to you later.
And I will link it all below here. For anyone who was perhaps listening to this as a podcast and not watching on YouTube, I'd really recommend for you guys to come over and check this out on YouTube, because we're showing the colors and explaining things. It was kind of a visual interview, so I think it would be great to see it in person. So I'll link the YouTube video below as well. Vivian, thank you so much. It was absolutely wonderful, enlightening, and empowering.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that we met. I'm so glad you transformed my image. Thank you.
You're very welcome, and thank you. I really appreciate being here, and it's been absolutely fun having this conversation with you. So I look forward to our future connections, and enjoy the rest of the time. Take care.
Thank you so much, Vivian. Thank you, everyone. See you guys in the next video.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for tuning into the Rewilded Human podcast. We hope you're leaving with insights to reconnect with your natural, vibrant self. Remember, the information shared here is for educational and inspirational purposes only, and is not a substitute for medical advice. Always consult a qualified healthcare provider for any personal health concerns. If you enjoyed today's episode, please like, subscribe, and share it with others who might benefit. We'll see you next time, ready to dive even deeper. Stay wild, stay true, and stay tuned.